Hi, this is Tom Swasey, Real Estate One Max Brook. Bringing you the October 2024 housing update for Macomb, Oakland, and Wayne counties. And how about those Tigers? Almost got the W last night, but we're definitely going to get it back in Cleveland. So later in the video, we're going to talk about some scary stories that you don't want to get into when you're a seller. So we're going to talk about how we can avoid having these scary situations, some things you can do. So stay tuned. I think you'll find it pretty helpful, particularly if you're a homeowner that may be looking to sell in a few years. Talking about housing, inventories are up a little bit, particularly in Oakland. We're seeing about an 8% increase. So maybe there's some deals for buyers out there, a few deals. Typically in the fall, though, some homes tend to stay on the market. Some homes that don't have the optimal layout or are not fully updated, they may stay on a little bit longer in the fall, but it's an opportunity for buyers. Prices in the three counties are up 6 to 14% year over year. So something else that I noticed, a lot of homes are selling below list price. So this was not the case a couple years ago. Everything was going over asking. We still see over asking. If it's a highly desirable home that's been updated with a great layout, we're still seeing it. But on average, it's about 98 to 99% of list price. Detroit condo prices are still falling. They're down about 4.5% from a year ago. Let's talk about the broader economic picture, because this does affect some things like particularly interest rates. So the job openings came in at 254,000, which was way more than what they're expecting. And that has a huge impact. The Fed is looking closely at that, looking at jobs more so than anything else, even inflation, as far as where they set interest rates. Unemployment ticked down to 4.1% from 4.2%. The CPI report, which is the inflation report, actually inched up just a little bit, up to 3.3 from 3.2%. So to the Fed, it's all about jobs, jobs, and jobs. There's a good chance that the rates may not go down in the early November session with the Fed meeting. And you probably have noticed, because of the strong jobs report, that mortgage rates have actually increased. We're up, I think, close to a 0.25 percentage point from where we were like a week and a half ago. So looking at local news, there's some uncertainty in the automotive industry. Stellantis is having a lot of problems. Their forecasts have been adjusted downward, and there's layoffs that are planned for later this year. There's already have been some layoffs, and possibly there could be a strike also. GM is trying to keep their 8 to 10% profit, and it's on the backs of the internal combustion engine. EVs have been a little bit tough, with costing about $5 to $5.5 billion. I think it's coming to the realization, I think all of us kind of feel the same, that hybrids is probably the direction for supporting fuel economy and the infrastructure we have. Now, as far as Ford, there's some struggles there too. There is a lot of excitement at Ford with 1,000 employees moving into Michigan Central Station in Corktown before the end of the year. Corktown may be one of the hottest areas in the country with all the growth that's happening there, the excitement. If you haven't been there in a while, you should check it out. A couple good restaurants to go to is Ottawa Via and also Brooklyn Street Local. We really like it down there. So if you are looking to sell in a year or two, here are some things that you need to keep in mind. And we're going to talk also about the potential disasters that could happen and how to prevent that. Some simple things. Neutral colors are really important. Bright, neutral colors to bring light in the house. It opens the house up. Along with that is make sure that the home is decluttered. Get rid of extra stuff. Furniture as well as clutter. It makes your house look claustrophobic. Do some maintenance to your home. If you have drywall that's damaged or there's trim, get someone to fix it. It's relatively inexpensive. Do that before you paint, and that'll make a big, huge improvement. Because you have to remember, when you're selling your home, buyers come through your home, they're going to look at things, and they get any indication that there is lack of maintenance. They look at that as neglect, that maybe the pride of ownership is not there, and that's going to diminish the value of your home. So looking at the outside, if you have any peeling paint, get a handyman or get a painter in there to address that, to fix it. You don't have to repaint the whole house, but sometimes just painting the trim can go a long ways, or maybe painting sections of the home. If your walkway is uneven, there's ways of leveling that, and that doesn't cost a lot of money either. There's a company that I have worked with that uses it's a limestone product, which is environmentally friendly, and in the course of a day, that can be totally corrected. Fall is a great time for trimming shrubs and cleaning up the yard too. So the last thing is you should consider a preemptive house inspection. And the reason for this is where the scary part comes in. You don't want to have surprises when you go to sell. And there can be some nasty things, some scary things that come up during inspection. And it's better to understand those ahead of time rather than reacting to them when you're under contract on your home. So some of these things are the sewer system. Sewer system could have cracks, it could have breaks, and it could amount to a lot of money. You may not correct these ahead of time, but at least you can be aware of it and proactively decide on what you want to do rather than be surprised by that. Foundation is another thing that is important. If you notice there's cracks in your foundation wall and they're questionable, then get a structural guy in to check it out. Good chance that it's not a major issue because cracking is pretty common on a lot of these older homes. But sometimes the cracking, if there's shifting, if there's separation, then that could be bad. And there are ways of addressing it. And you can turn this actually into a positive by having it addressed. You keep your receipts, show that to the potential buyer when your home is under contract. If you ever have had water damage, mold goes along with water damage. Mold likes moisture in insulation, in wood, drywall. So it's a good idea to maybe have a mold check done, particularly if you had a leak issue over the last few years. So proactively look at addressing that. There are companies that'll come in. They can come in for free, and they'll evaluate that for you, and they'll tell you what the costs are for mitigation. Another potential area is having a cloudy title. So if there is a question of encroachment, so there might be like a neighbor's shed or a fence or something that is blatantly on your line, then it may be worthwhile to have a survey done to check on that. Or there might be an easement dispute. So if there's any question there, that is something worth investigating ahead of time. So be proactive. Hire your inspection company ahead of time. Understand your home. And this is going to help you in the long run. So let's summarize. So the housing market is still chugging along pretty well. We're not seeing any wild swings or changes, but I do have a message for buyers. Don't wait. Because if you wait for interest rates to come down to 5.5% or 5%, many other buyers are doing the same thing. So what does that mean? It means that you have a certain supply of homes and you have an increase or a surge in buyers. That's that whole supply-demand equation, which means that the price of homes are going to jump up. At that point, you've missed out, where you could be buying now and getting the home for less money and then remortgaging when interest rates go down. So that is a wrap for the October update 2024. Please visit my YouTube site if you want to see other market update videos or other helpful information. The handle is at Tom Swasey Realtor. Or you can visit my website. And on my website, you can book an appointment if you would like to talk about your situation and how we can help plan the pathway to meet your goals. We'll see you next month.